think that's good enough, right? But then there's a rap on the end of this. This tune is so in my head now. It's a ditty. It's a ditty. Uh, how is everyone? I hope everyone's well. Thursday. Um, I think I may have managed my ant issue, even though it rained a lot and they don't really do a lot of moving when it rains. And it was nice. And it was like 73 degrees. It's like someone said, Summer, get the fuck out of here. And all of a sudden, the 90-degree days just went in like 2 days. Yesterday was like 98 degrees now. It was like 73 when I was out there an hour ago. And I was in a place that had air conditioning on. So I had to go to my car and get my hoodie because I was cold. Wah. Um, I've got a weird picture here, which is odd. The framing is tighter, which I think is weird, but that's okay. Uh, we didn't zoom in or anything. It's just the framing is weird. Uh, ho, 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 ho. Let's get first. Let's get the business of the day. When is sunset?
Sunset will be at 7:31 p.m. today.
All right. We check sunset. It's gonna be 7:31. We'll probably blow right past it and then go, "Oh, we missed sunset." But see, at least we have something to look forward to. Uh, there's a story that I wanted to share with you. Hold on. Am I gonna? I'm not gonna. There's a story I wanted to share with you guys. Uh, so the Ahmaud Arbery first prosecutor was indicted because, quite frankly, he cooked the books. And I think this is the first time that the cops, uh, not the cops didn't do anything in this case. It was two civilians with a shotgun, three civilians with a shotgun. But someone other than the police have been looked at for their role in what appears to have been a cover up, right? I mean, you could throw 20 people in jail on that case alone. But this is what I was talking about yesterday. Maybe these bullets whizzing by your nose will get you to stop being an asshole. Stop being a co-conspirator, you know, before they come and look into your past, right? The further away you get from it, the better. So maybe you'll go, oh, I'm not doing that shit anymore. And then become who who was the bad guy and then knew all about it and then turned it around and he became the good guy because if he knew how bad the system was. I don't have anybody for you. Right? There's a ton of people who went to the well one too many times and ended up arrested. Uh, I gotta tell you, if this whole new IRS thing passes, and they start looking into rich people who never pay taxes, they're gonna, So if I was one of them, I'd start paying now. I get even now if I could. But that cycler thing we talked about yesterday, where they're like, well, we don't want to be sued anymore. We'll give you that, and then we'll just be done with the whole thing, and we will be immune from further prosecution and random lawsuits. Goodbye, goodbye, bye. Or we won't play. And the court said, yeah. And all these district attorneys at the end of the story we read yesterday were like, yeah, we're not falling for it. We're not falling for it. We're not. We think that's unfair. We're not even allowing that. So at least it looks like it may go like to another court because that sounds like some bullshit. I mean, if I burglarize every house in your neighborhood, right? Good lord, this new weird camera angle is bugging me out. This way. All right. It used to be wider. Now it's tighter. I mean, I noticed it immediately. Um, so if I burglarize every house in your neighborhood, let's say you have at least 100 houses in your neighborhood, and then the cops got me, and I said, "All right, this is what I'll do. I'll give back half the stuff, um, and then it's over with. I'll admit to one burglary. I get back half the stuff, and then this thing is done, and you guys can take it or leave it. And they come back and go, okay, we'll do that. I don't nowhere in history. So yeah, they arrested him for essentially dereliction of duty. He should have known that people should have been proud. I mean, that cop was running around with a weapon. He wasn't even a cop anymore, and he wasn't supposed to have a gun on him. And that, man, he put a dagger through the heart of his family. Right? He's going to jail, and he's an older dude. His son's like 30. His son looks to be going to jail for 50 years. Right? It just it's fucked up that you do it to yourself, but man, it's like that couple at the kid's birthday party who drove around yelling nigger and having the Confederate flag. Then they arrested them all and charged with hate crimes. The girl got 7 years, the guy got 10. They cried in front of the jury. They didn't want to, and I get it. Who wants to go to jail for 7 or 10 years? But man, this is one of those open wounds in American history. And I say it all the time. People keep it around for economic reasons. You can steal from people with it, but also for therapeutic reasons. I'm a loser, but at least I'm not those people, right? And now I feel better about myself because I can walk around and call you the N word, right? And whatever. And because look at how superior I am. And no one tells them no. No, you're just like everybody else. You're on the bottom like everybody else. And then the scramble to get to the top in this weird society, that's rigged. So stop blaming the poorest people for your issue, right? Some people are just bullies. There's a whole bunch of reasons why people get down with this, right? Some people are lonely and they're fucking hate for white supremacists. And you take them out of that community, you introduce them to like a nice Spanish girl or an Asian girl or a black girl and a whole new crowd of friends who maybe they can ask questions to. And you don't have that anymore. In a couple of years, it's gone in them because they're around a totally different environment, a totally new set of. But there's those who hate and want mayhem and murder. Don't get me wrong, they exist in the world, but a lot of people are just stupid. And this hateful like trying to I mean, the history. Why would you even play with it? And now you're going to jail forever. And the woman who tried to, not the woman, the dude who tried to cook the books. Let's look this up. Who tried to cook the books on it in the first place? Let's put this over here and activate. Okay, so we keep doing this. All right, let's do that. So, indicted by a grand jury. Ex-prosecutor indicted for misconduct. I mean, this is what I mean by the federal government should send a message it's like I use a metaphor, but if someone's crowding the plate with a fastball by their nose and they step off the plate, right? They give room. Even the military does this. The military will warn you a shot across your boat. Hey, stop. We said stop. Boom, giant freaking not cannon, I suppose. That was whatever they're using now. Missile, I guess. I don't know. When it was those giant military bullets whizzing by your yacht or whatever, you will put the brakes on that shit immediately. Right? So I think this is what this is. I think if the federal prosecutor was like, we're going to send about 20 of you fuckers to jail and end this once and for all forever in America. And they have the power to do it. Instead, they're like, yep, we won't say anything. Let's get this money from these cop unions and we'll act like nothing's going on here. This should have been handled 200 years ago. You should be proud of the police department that are fixing it, and you're not. And that's shameful. Ex-prosecutor indicted for misconduct in Ahmaud Arbery death. Jackie Johnson, District Attorney, filed. In this Tuesday, November 3rd, 2025 photo, District Attorney Jackie Johnson campaigns for re-election on St. Simmons Island, Georgia. Johnson, a former Georgia prosecutor, was indicted Thursday, September 2nd, which is today, on misconduct charges alleging it was a lady, alleging she used her position to shield the men who chased and killed Ahmaud Arbery from being charged with crime immediately after the shooting. Former Georgia, I said this in a podcast last year when this whole thing came to light, and found out that she didn't prosecute, another prosecutor didn't prosecute, because I mean it looked like a cover up. And I was like, people need to go to jail for this shit. And it looks like somebody may very well go to jail for this who's not, you know, low level policeman. Right? I mean, what did the coroner say about the autopsy? That's misconduct. So people may look in. A former Georgia prosecutor was indicted Thursday on misconduct charges, alleging she used her position to shield the men who, and she knew them, by the way. She worked with one of them for like 10 years. Shield the men who chased and killed Ahmaud Arbery from being charged with crimes immediately after the shooting. All this boys club stuff is integrated now. Not integrated. Well, it is fairly. There's some integration in it, but it's not just the all boys club anymore, right? There's very ambitious women in law enforcement who will keep their mouth shut about evil shit to advance up the ladder. So what you want is a bad thing remedy. You want the bad guy to go away, right? You want him to pay a price, but if he doesn't pay a price, like a lot of these rich fuckers don't, you want him to at least go away and not get elected or have any influence in for the next 20, 30 years or whatever the case may be. A grand jury in coastal Glenn County indicted former Brunswick Judicial Circuit District Attorney Jackie Johnson on felony count on just one. That's not good. A felony count violating her oath of office and hindering a law enforcement officer, a misdemeanor. So she's got one felony and one misdemeanor. The indictment resulted from an investigation Georgia Attorney General Chris Harvey requested late last year into local prosecutors' handling of the Arbery slaying after cell phone video of the shooting and a delay in charges sparked a national outright. That's why he's trying to keep it quiet, because you don't know what's the I hate to quote the Bible here. What happens in the dark will be seen in the light or some shit like that. Right? I mean, if you can't stand in the light of day next to what you did, then why are you doing it? You know what I'm saying? Like the first, some of my first real life heroes were astronauts, right? I was a kid. I grew up in the space race watching, like, they would bring the TV in class and we'd watch the shuttle go up, and yeah, those guys should be famous forever. They did an amazing thing. They walked on the fucking moon, right? You would never be, but all this other stuff, this getting drawn to light now, you know what I'm saying? Why would you? What you should be angry at is that your promise and your opportunity has been sort of uh, stunted by how much these, like, everybody's a corporate, like, shill. It looks like the corporations run America, just like the Communist Party runs China. So your elected office means shit over there, and I think your elected office means shit here too, right? I mean, you're above the law, and this is how revolutions get started. People just kind of go, man, we are all suffering. Then before you know it, somebody rushes your January 6th style. But this time it's way more people with way more broad spectrum of America, right? And they may have some serious what do they call them? Serious leaders to this, right? Versus random dudes from, like, the what did that guy work for? A roofing company. He wore his roofing jacket to the place. Fired and arrested. Man, he had a bad 2020. Uh, Hindering law enforcement. Indictment resulted from investigation. Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr requested uh, where am I getting extra words? Last year into local prosecutors' handling of the Arbery slaying after cell phone video of the shooting and delays in charges sparked a national outcry. While an indictment was returned Tuesday, our file is not closing. We will continue to investigate in order to pursue Justice Carr, a Republican said in a statement. A Republican. This is good for the Republican Party. Arbery was killed February 23rd, 2020. What is going on here? um, just people get paid to be political pundits, and they're always wrong, and it makes me crazy. David Frum is talking again. Just kind of like, ugh, when was the last time you were right about anything? Police do not charge any of them immediately following the shooting, and the McMichaels. I'm sorry. Arbery was killed. How did I hop these? Arbery was killed February 23rd, 2020, after a white father and son, Greg and Travis McMichael, armed themselves and pursued the 25-year-old black man in a pickup truck after spotting him running in their neighborhood outside the coastal city of Brunswick, about 70 miles south of Savannah. A neighbor, just a go along, right? A neighbor. Oop. Oh, good Lord, where is it? Here we are. A neighbor, William Roddy. How is Roddy Bryant joined the chase? I was like, how is Roddy short for William or anything? Joined the chase and took cell phone video of Travis McMichael shooting Arbery at close range with a shotgun. So your co-conspirator caught the evidence, and then they let it sit. The McMichaels say they believed Arbery was a burglar, that he was shot after attacking Travis McMichael. That's not the way that works. If I start the fight with you and then I kill you, I can't claim to be the victim of you. There you go. Everybody always got some woman coming forward saying some shit about them when they're running for office. I hope there's some police paperwork on this shit back when you said it. Because it looks like the A number one way to destroy, it used to be the A number one way to destroy black dudes. Now it looks like the A number one way to destroy any guy. I just want some evidence because I really do think that political people are using these horrible things for leverage, and the super hard it is to prove that still, then they'll just write books about it. And come on, there's got to be evidence. Not all people do this, and not all women are lying, but at the same time, some people do this. You should you should definitely call them out on it. But how do you know who is it? Some women are victims of this shit. What do you do? All right. Uh, but it always comes out when people are trying to run for office. A neighbor, William Roddy Bryant, joined the chase and took cell phone video. The McMichael said they believe Arbery was a burglar and that he was shot after attacking Travis Michael. Shot close range with a shotgun. Police did not charge any of them immediately following the shooting, and the McMichaels for more than 2 months until the cell phone video of the shooting was leaked online, and Governor Brian Kemp asked the Georgia Bureau of Investigators to take over the case. Both of Michaels and Bryant were charged with murder and other crimes in May of 2020 and faced trial this fall. Now, this is what I'm talking about. They're sitting here going, hey, whoa, whoa. This was not racial, right? This is what they're saying. This was not racial. Oh, sorry. This was not racial. That's what they're saying. But then they get your cell phone, which we were saying a couple of days ago, and you got all this hateful shit in it, right? I mean, that's Oh my goodness, my eyes are burning. I mean, that's dark, but this is the things you busy your time with, right? As you hover around your gun obsession, and then you begin to see things. I'm pretty sure they saw a burglar, right? They were looking to see a burglar. If they were looking to see a college kid, they would have saw that too. All right. Police did not charge any of them immediately following the shooting. And Michael Matt remained free. Okay, brother. Governor Brian Kemp asked to look into the case. Both McMichaels and Bryant were charged with murder and other crimes in May 2020, facing trial this fall. Prosecutors say Arbery was merely jogging in their neighborhood and was unarmed when Travis McMichael shot him. They say there is no evidence Arbery had committed a crime. George McMichael had worked as an investigator in Johnson's office, having retired in 2019, a year before this. Evidence introduced in pretrial hearings in the murder case shows he called Johnson's cell phone and left her a voice message soon after the shooting occurred. Jackie, this is Greg, he said, according to the records of the call included in the public case file. Could you call me as soon as you possibly can? My son and I have been involved in the shooting. I need some advice right away. Nice to get advice from, hey, William, it's nice to get advice from the DA who's going to prosecute you. I need some advice. Don't worry about it. I'll fix this case for you. The indictment says Johnson favored an affection toward Greg McMichael in the investigation. And the indictment says Johnson showed favor and affection toward Greg McMichaels in the investigation and interfered with police officers at the scene by directing that Travis McMichael should not be placed under arrest. She directed this. All right. Johnson did not immediately return messages seeking comment. Thursday afternoon, she had previously insisted she did nothing wrong, saying she immediately recused herself from the case because Greg McMichael was a former employee. He didn't see this kind of lawyering wording bullshit. He was a former employee. He wasn't an employee. You worked with him, right? You were both employees of the state. He wasn't your employee, right? He may have been your subordinate, right? But he was not your employee. You did not pay him. See, that kind of wording is very, very, it hits my ear funny. And sometimes you like people you work with, sometimes you hate them. I'm confident that when the truth finally comes out on that, people will understand our office did what it had to under the circumstances. What circumstances were you looking at? Johnson told the Associated Press in November after she lost re-election. Lee Merritt, an attorney for Arbery's mother, said in a statement, Thursday, that prosecutors must be held accountable when they interfere with the investigation in order to protect friends and law enforcement. And we said this yesterday. I really do believe this. It's the system. It's the legal system. It's not a justice system. It's a legal system. And you can fix it, but they don't seem to want to fix it. How can you tell me the death penalty was? You can be sure that the death penalty never killed any innocent people. I've got 8 people in my head right now. Yesterday here in Virginia, they pardoned 7 people that they're saying, man, it's just, I can't even talk about it. But there's a young guy from Texas who they say set his whole house on fire and killed his 2 young daughters. And it turned out that wasn't true either. But that looked less of a malicious prosecution, let's say, than people who got it wrong and put a guy to death over it. Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, posted her reaction on Facebook. Former DA Jackie Johnson indicted, justice for my baby. In his call for an investigation into prosecutorial misconduct, CAR acted GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, not only to investigate Johnson's actions related to the killing, but also those of Waycroft Judicial Circuit District Judge George Barhill. No charges have been announced against Barhill. Right? He was the second guy who sort of tried to punt it. After the shooting, Johnson called Barhill to handle questions from police about how. So the Sandy DA called another district attorney in another district, right, to handle questions from police about how to handle the shooting. Carr ended up appointing Barhill to take over February 27, 4 days after shooting. In his letter ordering investigation in last May, Carr said he was never told that Barhill had already advised police that he did not see grounds for the arrest of any kind of individual, of arrest of any of the individuals involved in Mr. Arbery's death. These are your lawyers, people. Um, they want these positions. They don't want to be good at it, respectful of it. They want you to be respectful of them as they just run roughshod against the rules. They're treated like a golf club, right? And you're not invited. Now, is it a golf club? What are those places where rich people hang out? Not social club, country club. It's like a country club, right? It's a country club for people, and that doesn't seem like it should be. Uh, is it getting dim in here? Do we want to cut on this light or this light? Let's cut on this light. Let's open these shades a little. I mean, I need that light after all. Barhill later recused himself as well after Arbery's family learned his son worked for Johnson as an assistant prosecutor. But oh boy. But before he stepped aside, Barhill wrote a letter to a Glenn County police captain saying the McMichaels were following in hot pursuit a burglary, in quotes, hot pursuit, a burglary suspect with solid firsthand probable cause in their neighborhood and telling him to stop. It appears their intent was to stop and hold this criminal suspect until law enforcement arrived. So he's giving you a narrative of I mean, where's the proof of any of this? Under Georgia law, this is perfectly legal. Bell advised in the letter referencing Georgia's Civil War era citizens arrest statute. He referenced a 150-year-old statute. I'm sorry. Yeah, 100. Civil War is 1860s, right? Yeah, 150-year-old statute. The law was repealed. He's in May of 2021. With overwhelming support from Republicans and Democrats as a reaction to Arbery's death. Johnson told the AP in May 2020 that Glenn County Police contacted two of her assistant prosecutors on the day of the shooting. She said it was the officers who represented it as a burglary case with self-defense issues. Our officer, but that's not the way DAs work. I'm not a lawyer. I'm the cop. So if I roll up and go, yeah, this looks to me like burglary and then murder, and then you, the DA, comes and looks at the scene and go, yep, looks like burglary and murder, then I happen to be right. If at the next scene I go, wow, this looks like a suicide, and you see like the guy hanging from the rope, and then the DA comes in and goes, but there's also a bullet hole in him, and they'll go, well, we're not signing off on suicide, right? Somebody did this. We're going to open up, I mean, DAs investigate shit too. We're going to open up our own investigation because we don't like the way the cops did it. And we don't think that what the cops charged him with was sometimes harsh enough, or sometimes they overcharge you. So we can't prove murder, but we can prove manslaughter. So yeah, you charge him with murder one because he got into a fight with his girlfriend's new boyfriend, his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend, and killed him. But you're saying he went over there to do it. But in fact, not over there. I'm trying to get a weird scenario going for you. Went over there to do it, but it turns out that he was going someplace and they ran across each other. So he didn't premeditated plan to it, but he did do it. So it's you know what I'm saying? So then the cops go, okay, well, it's not murder one then, but it's like what, manslaughter? I don't know. What is it? Like, yeah, man. Well, they're all murder is manslaughter, but like unintentional homicide. But you killed some guy, right? So they'll go, yeah. So this is the intent, and this is right? But now all of a sudden she's talking about the two cops told us it was burglary. So she's putting it down to the cops. She said it was the officers who represented it as Berkeley case with self-defense issues. Our office could not advise or assist them because of our obvious conflict, Johnson said. If you had a conflict, why are you taking calls and talking to cops about it, though? Johnson blamed the controversy over Arbery's death for her election defeat last year after a decade as top prosecutor for the 5-county circuit in southern Georgia. She was defeated by independent candidate Keith Higgins, who had to collect thousands of signatures to get on the ballot. That's that old American goodness right there. He went out independent. Hold on, independent. Hold on. Ugh, there we go. Independent, right? Candidate Keith Higgins, who had to collect thousands. He went out there and did it the old-fashioned way. He talked to people. He won them over. They gave him their signature. He got on the ballot. He took his case to a wider audience of the, what is this? The Tri-5-County Circuit, Southeast Georgia, voters and constituents. And they were like, yeah, it's time for a change. We like this new guy. We're going to give him a shot. You've been around for 10 years, and this is a fucking embarrassment. Maine man pleads guilty to baseball bat killing of 4. Good sweet Jesus. His mother, his grandparents, and his brother, I'm assuming, right? A defense, yeah. It's just the saddest shit. It does not make any sense. We're not gonna go over that story again, but oof, that story is a doozy. That story is really just, and then to hear people punt it around. Yeah, if the cops, I've got questions about her statement. If the cops, if you recuse yourself, why are you taking calls from the cops? A woman told the police Herschel Walker stalks her and made threats as she see they don't want Herschel Walker to win the Senate in Texas. So now people are saying that Herschel Walker is a sexual deviant. How convenient for you. They just said that about the guy running against for governor of California against the incumbent Larry Elder. Right now, all of a sudden they're saying he's a sexual deviant and he beat his girl. Right? It's just kind of like this is why nobody trusts the media. Right? These guys have been around forever now. All of a sudden, this is a thing. What's his name? First of all, your name is Herschel. You had to get Diesel for a name like that, Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker is one of the best athletes of all time. Amazing, U.S. twin, and he's the leading favorite. So now, of course, Texas woman told police Herschel Walker threatened to. Okay, so when did she tell police this? Well, there you go. Yeah, I don't want to watch you. I want to read it. Herschel Walker eyes green Georgia U.S. Senate seat. Newly revealed stalking claims bring his troubled history. Okay, well, what is his troubled history? Brings his troubled history under scrutiny. Casey Tolan, Kurt Devane, and Bill Chapman. All right, so let's hear it. A Texas woman told police in 2002, well, it goes back 20 years, well, 19 years, that Georgia U.S. Senate candidate Herschel Walker had threatened her and stalked her, according to police. The woman from, but yeah, okay, just because you made a police report, I've had to take a ton of police reports I knew were bullshit. The woman, a friend of Walker's ex-wife, told police that the football star had been following her and had previously made threats to her and had her house watched. The report did not specify the nature of the threats by. Oh, really? So there's a report, but the report doesn't say he threatened me. And then you go, what did he say to threaten you? You go, he said, I will kill you. You write down. The victim says the perpetrator said, "I will kill you," in quotes, right? So you know what the threat is. This already, man. had previously made threats, quote unquote, threats to her, and had her, quote unquote, her house watched. They have no sexual history. He's just stalking you and watching your house. What was the impetus for this? The report did not specify the nature of the threats. She's a friend of his ex-wife. Okay, Candace in case. Mhm. Over the years, two women, Walker's ex-wife and an ex-girlfriend, have accused him of making threats. Telling authorities Walker claimed he would shoot them in the head. That's a threat. Their years old accounts have resurfaced in recent weeks as Walker, who won national fame as a college football player at the University of Georgia, launched a campaign for the Peach State Battleground Tennessee. The third woman account has not previously been reported. All right, so the first one is your ex-wife. Okay, the second one is girlfriend. All right, yeah, it looks this way. The woman who was in her, mind you, I'm not going to defend Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a famous socialite for like 40 years. I'm sure he knows a lot of these people. I'm sure he knows more movie stars and celebrities and athletes than politicians. Um, so yeah, I don't, and Hershey Walker has been famous for 30 years, right? Since being a college standout, then a pro standout. Um, yeah, Donald Trump once owned a football team, had a football league, right? That caved. The Generals. Uh, the woman who was in her late 20s at the time she contacted police confirmed that CNN this week that Walker had threatened her, but asked not to be identified and declined to discuss the specifics of his threats. I don't want to be identified, and I don't want to tell you the whole story. She stressed she never dated or had a relationship with Walker. Okay. Walker's campaign declined to respond to the woman's allegation or discuss the 2002 police report. In response to question about the incident, Mallory Blunt, a campaign spokesman, cited Walker's past struggles with mental health issues, which he's spoken about publicly. It's sad that many in politics and media who praised Hersh for his transparency over a decade ago are now making false statements, stereotyping, attacking, attempting to sensationalize his past just because he is a Republican Senate candidate, he said in a statement. Wow, that's a pretty good fucking retort. In May 2002, report which CNN obtained through a public records request, a police officer from Dallas suburb, she did call the cops of Irving wrote. So she didn't call the cops at the scene. Yeah, see, shit like this from the Dallas suburbs of Irving wrote that he responded to a prowler call from a woman who said she believed someone was sneaking around outside house. The woman said she felt she knew who the person would be, but was very reluctant to tell me, the officer Jason Mullins wrote in his report. Eventually, the woman told Mullins that the person she suspected was Walker. About a year before calling the police, the woman told Mullins she had a conversation with Walker. He began calling her, making threats for her, having her household watched. It's not clear from the documents what those threats entailed. All right, who's watching your house? Did he pay? I mean, you can trace all this shit. This is not the dark ages. This is the modern era, right? The police told him she had conversation with Walker. Okay, fine. And he began calling her. You can check phone records if he's calling her, right? This is fairly easy, especially the old way, making threats to her, which I guess you can't prove unless you record it, and having her house watched. So my question is, did he hire someone to watch your house? Who's watching your house? Why didn't you call the cops on the person watching you? Was he watching your house? Having She said he's having her house watched. So he's having someone do it for him. It's not clear from the document what those threats entailed. She said that she had recently, did he cop to any of this? She said that when she had recently seen Walker at a local resort, the former football star jumped into his vehicle and followed her all the way to her house. Why were you at a resort? And if how close do you live to the resort? Because if you know that he's following you, why don't you call the cops in mid follow? A lot of this just seems weird to me, man. I think very commonsensically, if that's a word, right? Um, uh, oh my God, I'm out of beer. All right, so We're not going to end this just yet. Uh, it's not clear from the document. So I thought the cop was going to be outside her house and then find Herschel Walker. No, he goes, he looks around, he comes to her. I don't want to tell you, I don't want to tell you. Well, okay, I'll tell you. It's Herschel Walker. Right? This whole thing leads itself. This whole thing reads very fucking weird. Eventually, women told Mullins that she suspected it was Walker. Let's read that last sentence one more time. Reports detailing claims. This is the report in May 2002. I was with you. You had me right there. Oh, it's a police report, May 2002, 19 years ago, which CNN obtained through public records request. Good job, CNN. It's a public records. It's a police report. A police officer from Dallas suburb of Irving wrote that he responded to a prowler, right? From a woman who said she believed someone was sneaking around the outside of his house, outside her house, sneaking around outside her house, right? The woman said she felt she knew who the person would be, but was reluctant to tell. The officer Mullins wrote in his report. I'm thinking the officer found somebody. No, the woman told Mullins that the person she suspected was Walker about a year before calling, and then she had a conversation with him with Walker. And he began calling her, which is easily tracked through phone records, making threats to her, which I guess you can only do, like I said, with a recording, and having her house watch. He's not doing. He's having her house watch. Who's watching her house? And why didn't she call the cops on the people sitting outside watching her house? Or if it wasn't sitting outside, were they in the bushes? I mean, how good are you to know someone's across the way in a bush with a binocular watching your house? You know what I mean? This whole thing seems squiffy to me. It's not clear from the document what those entailed. Okay, she said that when she had recently seen Walker at a local resort. Okay, so it's a local resort. What does resort mean? The form of, maybe that's the problem I'm hung up on. This word resort. Maybe she means like bar or a local hotel. Like there's uh, like a Radisson or a Hilton everywhere, and you can go there if you want to like get away from it all. Like somebody, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's not good. That's probably bullshit, right? It's probably bullshit. I don't know. What is a resort? We want to look up the definition of resort before I continue this. Grand East Resort. Resort. This is what is a self-contained commercial that tries to provide the most of a vacationer's wants, such as food, drinks, lodging, sports, entertainment, and shopping on the premises. Right. The term resort may be used for a hotel. Ah, okay, so I wasn't so bad. A hotel probably that provides an array of amenities, typically including entertainment. Okay. Oh, all right. So like one of those Vegas hotels would be a resort. So she could have went to one of those like Vegas hotels with her girlfriend, or to get some of those shrimps, and then run into him. Then he followed her home 20 miles, right, or 5 miles, or whatever it might have been. But if you know he's following you, can still call the cops. All right. So the former football jumped into his vehicle. She saw him do this. I'm assuming, and followed her. So she knows he's following her all the way to her house. Was this before cell phones? How long have I had my cell phone? I think I've had my cell phone for about, oh my God, I think I've had my cell phone for about 20 years. How long have I had my cell phone? How old is, wow, I've had my cell phone I guess since about 1996, maybe earlier than that. I don't know, I got one late. Um, but yeah, he would have had one because he's rich. She's very frightened. She's very frightened. She is very Frighten. She is very frightened, sick of the individual, and is afraid that he going sick to begin bothering her again. Mullins wrote, "This is your police officer." She's very frightened and of the individual, and is afraid that he's comma s he's going to began bothering her again. Mullins wrote, but hey, man, I get it. I've had to jot down stuff people talk really fast over, and I go back and read it in my book, and I'm like, what the fuck did I write here? Um, to begin bothering her again. But by the time you transcribe that from your note that you take at the scene to the report you're writing, that shouldn't be in it. Uh, she begins bothering her again. Mullins wrote, she advised that she's not She does not want him contacted under any circumstance, and she feels this will only make the problem worse. So I want to take a peace report. I want to finger somebody, but I don't want you to tell them that I did it, and I don't want you to do anything with this report for this guy that isn't a boyfriend, never had any sex with him. And we had one conversation, and now he done none of this shit sounds plausible to me. And I am a fucking I'm a Boy Scout. Well, can't say I'm a Boy Scout, but I believe in a lot of Boy Scout shit. Women say they don't need protection. I believe they do, and you should fucking step up. Within reason. Not one of you and 14 of them. You're allowed to go call the cops or protect her, right? Slide off so nobody sees you. Go, yo, man, they protect this girl. Do something other than go home, right? But that doesn't mean you have to stand between you and 2 9-foot tall fucking 90-year-old Navy SEALs in the peak of form, and you're like 70 or some shit. Not 70, like 40 and pudgy and bald, and you know what I'm saying? But you can help in some way. It's not the movies. She advised that she does not want contact under any circumstance and that she feels this will only make the problem worse. Mullins wrote that he talked to the guard at the entrance to the women's neighborhood who said he hadn't seen Walker into the area. So at least he followed up. He went and talked to the guard at the entrance. So apparently it's a gated community because, like I said, they're rich, right? So he talked to the guy at the gate. The guy said didn't see him come through. Mullins, who's still working for the Irving Police Department, said that from what he could tell, the department didn't further investigate the woman's allegations. I wouldn't have either. I hate to say it, but yeah, it sounds like bullshit. But here's the thing: you can't go, lady, this is bullshit. Don't make me take a bullshit police report, right? Because then she'll go, oh my God, I wanted to, but then the cops were rude to me and they told me they said my report was bullshit and I shouldn't report it. And you know what? She'd be right. Shut the fuck up and take the report. Be polite, like you're supposed to be. You're a public servant. And even if you're going, and then the Martians came down and anally probed me and stole my cow, you go, yeah, yes, ma'am. The Martians came down and stole. And then you get into the police car and you're like 2 blocks away, you can go, oh my God. Right? And then, but never at the scene, never with people, no matter how it all goes down. I mean, come on, have some respect for the people, the public servant. You're not the military. But yeah, this just seems like this seems goofy from the beginning. Department didn't further investigate the woman's allegations. Why would you? She didn't want him. She was reluctant to name him. She didn't want to name him. You went to this thing to see if the known person, who's a famous person, came through here, and the guard would have known him, right? Because he's a famous person, and he. I don't want to say lives in the area, but I'm assuming he knows where she lives because she was friends with his ex-wife. I would know where some of my friends live, but maybe he didn't, right? And if he did, you would recognize him because he had been there before, and you could say he wasn't there that night. Or you could go, oh, I know the famous Dallas Cowboys running back Herschel Walker, who won a Super Bowl. I know exactly what he looks like. No, I didn't see him tonight. It's like, well, yeah, I know what Mike Tyson looks like. Yeah, oh my God, yeah. No, I didn't see him today. What, Tom Cruise? I know exactly what Tom Cruise looks like. Absolutely. What? No, I didn't see him today. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it sounds goofy. And then she didn't want him even contacted. So she didn't want this investigated. So yeah, why would you further it? Since she stated that she didn't want us to contact him, it was unlikely that we could have. We would have. But I can't tell you that for sure, Mullins told CNN. He said the woman's allegation appeared to have been taken as an informational report that would stay on file instead of a criminal offense report that would be forwarded to police officer. Right. So an informational report is like you see me hiding in your bushes and you call the cops and I'm gone. And then you see me around your work peeking out from behind the newsstand, and then you run back inside your office and then I'm gone. Then you go, you know what? I'm gonna go to tell the cops because I saw this guy and I think that true guy who from the internet with that ridiculous show is always following me around. And if the cop come and talk to me, I'm gonna say no, right? But then they'll go, well, at least it's on file, right? Well, we can't prove he did or he didn't. But God forbid something happens to this young lady, you're the first fuckstick we're coming to talk to, right? So yeah, you need information and reports. I'm feared for my life. I don't know who's after me, but my car was slashed. You will die was written on it. The cop take pictures of it. They're like, huh, we got no leads, but we've got like something serious here. Or there's a prowler, there's a prowler, there's a prowler. And then maybe you can take your prowler to like whatever we used to call it a condition in the New York State Police Department. Whatever condition you have in the area, there might be a rapist running around, right? And you might have thought he was a prowler or a burglar when he was actually the rapist. So they go, wow, all these places over here are burglaries, but over here are rapes, and they're not. The two are not connected, right? But you know what I'm saying? I mean, you watch enough Law and Order, I'm assuming. Uh, a little surprise to me. It says Herschel has net worth of 12 million. Yeah, that's true, but divorce takes a lot out of you. And he played 30 years ago when I guess a lot of money was what 5 million. People are getting 100 million now, right? Um, not, and I'm not saying just the story just sounds real. I'm not saying she's lying or anything. So they took it as an information report that was sitting on file instead of a criminal offense that would be forwarded to police investigators. The report came around the same time that Walker's wife, Cindy Grossman, was divorcing him after nearly 2 decades. See, so her girlfriend is like, oh, Herschel Walker. So when it goes to like divorce court, you can say, Mr. Walker, we have a police report about a woman saying you were hiding in her bushes, right? And now you got like, what are you talking about? Um, Grossman has spoken public about Walker threatening to kill her during their marriage in a 2008 interview. How convenient. I went from loving you to wanting to murder you. It's always the same. Uh, maybe they just don't want each other. It's never, he just ignored me. I could be dead. He didn't care. It's never that. Irreconcilable differences. I'd just like to hear somebody go, he fell out of love with me. And I fucking, you know, it happens, but it's never that. It's always a murder investigation. Walker tried to kill her during their marriage in the 2008 interview with CNN chief medical correspondent Sanay Gupta. This is what your chief medical correspondent is doing. Tabloid news stories about Herschel Walker. She said that Walker had held a razor to her throat, and at one point he held a gun to her temple and said he was going to blow her brains out. So he did both of these. He did the first one and you hung out so he could do the second one. All right. Grossman did not. You could leave immediately. He was a millionaire. I'm pretty sure you could put yourself in a hotel and then get a lawyer the very next day. Nothing about this sounds right. And when things fall apart, sadly, the first thing that happens is, everybody gets demonized, especially if you want more loot. Uh, Raised her throat at one point and then held a gun to her temple and was going to blow her brains out. He was going to. How do you know he didn't? But he was going to, but he didn't. So how do you know he was going to? Grossman did not respond to CNN request for comment in this week. So she didn't. This whole thing is running. He's going for this whole thing comes back. You call her up for a request after this two traumatic things she told you. Held a razor to her throat and a gun to her head, and you go, should this guy be in government? And you don't even. I mean, maybe she's traumatized and she doesn't want it to. Okay, I'll buy some of that. But man, the threat continued after the couple was separated. In December 2005, Grossman filed for a protective order against Walker. Grossman's sister, Maria Tetzo, said in an affidavit submitted with the request that Walker had called her and threatened to kill Grossman and her then boyfriend. He stated unequivocally that he was going to shoot my sister Cindy and her boyfriend in the head. Tetzo said. Again, he called you in 2005. There should be evidence of this phone call someplace, right? And even if you don't have a transcript, which I'm pretty sure they do not have a transcript of, you will still have this phone number to this line from Herschel Walker's phone or house or office to her home or office or whatever. It's just one day that month, Grossman and her boyfriend were at a mall when Walker slowly drove by in his vehicle, pointing his finger at Grossman and tracked her with his fingers as he drove. According to the petition, Walker had called Cecil threatening Grossman earlier that day. Another phone call. The judge granted a petition for the protective order, the Associated Press reported. It is a thing. Grossman and her boyfriend were at a mall when he took. You know how many people are at a mall? What are the odds that I'm gonna wait outside in my car by the door that you're gonna come out of? Maybe they're walking to their car and he followed them and he knew where the car was parked. All right. But now he's driving and he's doing this movie star shit like he doesn't need to look where he's going. And he's, yeah, okay. All right. And tracked her with his fingers as he drove, according to petition. And she got his order of protection for this. Walker's book details mental health issues. Walker has spoken publicly about facing mental and his marriage to Grossman, saying interviewed and writing a book that he had been diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, which police know as multiple personalities. So he said in 2008 CNN interview that he didn't remember being violent toward his wife, but he didn't deny it and noted that one of the symptoms of his disorder was blackouts. Ugh, maybe she's right. If you don't remember doing it. In his book, Walker wrote that he sought help for his disorder after another violent episode in 2001, in which he drove around the Dallas area looking for a man who had failed to deliver a car he bought. Walker wrote that the voice in his head told him to kill the man, and he imagined that the visceral enjoyment I'd get from seeing that small injury and spray of brain tissue and blood like 4th of July fireworks exploding behind him. He fought up the urge and went to the doctor and said he later wrote his book to destigmatize mental health issues. This whole sentence just knocks down everything I said as I went through this. This whole thing says he's got, even though he may not remember it, he does acknowledge being violent to people. He doesn't deny being dark to his woman, and then his fantasy of gun violence, right? Bullets and all this shit, like the women said. So, yeah. Another woman romantically involved with Walker later made similar accusations to Grossman and Mika Dean, who told police that she had on and off relationship with Walker for 20 years. Say he had threatened to kill her, according to a 2012 Irving police report. A police officer wrote that Dean said Walker told her that he was going to come and sit outside her apartment and blow her head off when she came outside. The report said he then told Dean he was going to blow his head off after he killed her. It's always someone else telling you this shit. Dean expressed doubt about reporting the threat. The officer wrote saying she didn't want him to get in trouble and become pretty pretty reserved. He became pretty reserved. The officer noted that the department had a previous contact with Walker site in another police report from 2001. The Irving police, and mind you, I'm not surprised by all the fucking run-ins with the law with sports people. I'm just not. But the Irving Police Department declined to publicly release the report this week, saying it was being withheld pending an attorney general request for opinion. The allegation by Dean, who died in 2019, was first reported last week by Atlanta Journal. When asked about Dean saving the police, Walker spokesperson Blunt said the candidate emphasized, emphatically denies these claims. Quoted them an example of political mudslinging. Dean's mother told the Journal Constitution that she hadn't known about the allegations and added that we are very proud of the man Herschel Walker had become. Yeah. Yeah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Right? We all have past, but and we all see all these superstar sports figures. Oh, did we miss sunset? Yeah, we did. We missed about 4 minutes. When was sunset today?
Sunset was at 7:31 p.m. today.
When's sunset tomorrow?
Sunset tomorrow will be at 7:29 p.m.
So it was 7:31 today, and it's going to be 7:29 tomorrow. We skipped 2 minutes. A little surprising. I'm watching a ridiculous show. What is it? He has said that the mental health issue does not say his brain problem football player again. Yeah, that what is that called again? CT C cranial, oh man. Football brain injury is called CTE, chronic traumatic encephalitis, encephalopathy. ENCE, encephalopathy, encephalopathy, encephalopathy. All right. Yeah. So that's what it's saying he had, but you won't know until, right. You know what I'm saying? People say he was mental health. Dre. I don't understand the Dre comment. DRE. You mean the rapper? Yeah, exactly. They got to pull your brain out, which is not awesome. I'm pretty sure that most people still need it, no matter if they use it or not. Uh, yeah. But so here's a question: would you put Herschel Walker in the United States Senate? The other people are in there who had drug issues and right were once violent, right, once homeless. It's supposed to be a reflection of America, not just like I said, a country club for lawyers. Colin McCarthy got there because the Long Island gunman shot up her family. That's how she got into politics and won her seat. I want to say held it for 20 years. Is she still even there? I don't think she is. She was one of those Clintonites who lost because, man, uh, Carolyn McCarthy, Vice President Communication. Maybe there's a lot of Carolyn McCarthy's politician. Yeah, Carolyn McCarthy is an American nurse political who served as a U.S. representative for New York 4th Congressional District from 1997 to 2015. So she was there for a minute. That's 25 years she was there, right? She is a Democrat. She went to high school, then she went to nursing school. And then she was a housewife and a mother. Then I got shot up the train and killed her husband and really injured her son really badly. And she ran for Congress about guns, and then she just sat there forever. Um, who beat her? Previous representative New York 4th District, 1997 to 2015. Huh? Who beat her? Hmm. Succeeded by Kathleen Rice. The Nassau County District Attorney. Yeah, Dennis McCarthy, 67, died 1993. Yeah. So why not Herschel? Why not Herschel? Why not Herschel? That sounds like the worst campaign slogan ever. Why not Herschel? Hashtag why not Herschel? Yeah, so yeah, I'm for Herschel in this thing. But man, black Republicans are getting it handed to him. Larry Elder in California. I've watched something that said he may have peaked too early. Um, Elder. California recall contender Larry Elder makes misleading claims that young people don't. Okay, yeah. See, the liberal media are gonna be happy to Uncle Tom. Look, the dude is a lawyer and an accomplished broadcaster, and everybody keeps acting like he's a rapper. It really is fucking infuriating. Uh, and it didn't Gavin Newsom tell people to stay home because of COVID? Uh, yeah, like what is he gonna do? Drive it into the account? Like they're implying that he's gonna make. I mean, the arrogance of that. It's almost like black people can't run the state kind of stuff. California would be fine if Larry Elder replaces Gavin Newsom in a recall. The California recall isn't just Gavin Newsom versus Larry Elder. Who is Larry Elder? Gavin Newsom, controversial conservative, right? Rather, Larry Elder holds lead in poll 2 weeks out from the California election. This was 2 days ago. Larry Elder campaign ramps up effort to attract Latino voters in California. Gavin Newsom, Larry Elder, and Caitlyn Jenner 2 days ago. Ordinary democracy is being abandoned in California. California recall candidate Larry Elder. What we know. Real estate industry gave 513,000 to Larry Elder's in California recall. Yeah, but when these Democrats are saying you don't, it's two Americas, people. Former California Democrats saying Larry Elder endorses Larry Elder, Senate leader, former California Senate Democratic Senate leader. All right, it's crazy. I could not. Uh, uh, let's look at California recall. Well, there you go. Let's see what the wide mess about this is. The California isn't just Gavin Newsom versus Larry. Not Newsom has a strong support in the latest California recall. All right. So if he had strong support, he wouldn't be being freaking asked to leave. I'm always seriously iffy about the reporters and how they report these things. The California recall isn't just about Newsom. Newsom has strong support. I heard he didn't have a lot of support with the Latino community. Gavin Newsom went from. That's your opinion. More than a fifth of California voters have cast ballots so far. So people voted already on this thing. Who's Larry Elder? Who voted so far this California recall? Yeah, let's see who voted so far. Give me a poll. Well, no poll. Show more story. Come on, man. Where are your pictures? Uh, the early numbers provide good news for Governor Newsom, but they also show his weaknesses. See, this is why you just want numbers sometimes. Here you go. Excuse me. Uh, Ballot Democrats, Independent Republicans. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. Look at all these deadweight people showing wanting to campaign for Newsom. All the same losers who kept getting it wrong. Pocahontas. That shit was. It's still funny. It's still funny. It's still funny. Pocahontas. That was Donald Trump's greatest ability to just sum you up in an insult. Pocahontas. Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, here's the thing. He got mean with Clintons, right? He was snarky with them, but he wasn't funny. But yeah, for a while there, he was hysterical. He really was. Then he started listening to the people in Washington, and then he just went off the rails. I put him up there with Bush. The same thing sort of happened with Bush. Got with his father's cronies, the second Bush, and then before you know, went invading shit and starting wars all over the place. I always wondered, Obama did the same thing. Got in with the Democratic establishment and did nothing. Now he's making Netflix movies. And we're talking about Ahmaud Arbery. Traumatic brain injury. Let's get a look at this. Yee. Look at this. That's no bueno. That is not good. Normal. Advanced CTE. Oh my gosh. First of all, ill. Second of all, oh my gosh. All right, let's close this. Wow. Your brain just smashing. Yeah, yeah. These dudes are big too. They carry a lot of force with them when they go running, slamming into each other. What's the football player who ended up with Lou Gehrig's disease, and then 10 years later, he was like, I mean, he was a football player. He was like 6'3" and like 350 or some craziness. And then like 10 years later, he's like in a wheelchair with that thing in his throat, and he must have weighed 160 pounds. And I was like, oh my god. And this is just football brain injury. This is before the like Lou Alzado, who did the same thing happened to him, but he had done drugs. He no, not well drugs, but not recreational drugs. He had done uh muscle enhancing, like he did done steroids. And then by the time he got brain cancer, and he was like another big giant dude. He was like 140 pounds. You're just like, wow, brain injury. I have a fruit fly in here. He's been in here for days. It's really making me crazy. I had to look up how long they live. Fruit flies live last a day, but little flies can live up to like. First of all, the ants live up to some say 3 months to 8 months, and the black ants live up to 4 years. I was like, 4 years can't fucking 4. But now I've got this fly problem. It's fucking ridiculous. I can't even explain where they're coming from. Uh, Lou Gehrig's disease, brain injury. Lou Gehrig. Lou G Gehrig. That's wrong, but all right. Yeah, I knew I totally mucked that one. Tim Green's ALS. Uh, sometime, man. See now, why can't I? All right, you know what we're gonna do here. We're gonna close you down because you're an idiot. Um, yeah, I wouldn't let my kids play football. I wouldn't. I mean, now that you know that it's too dangerous for kids, why are you still letting kids play it? Ugh, good lord. I mean, some of this is just brutal to look at. Uh, so we've been streaming for. Oh wow. Oh, we're closing in on. We've been streaming for an hour and a half. Ice bucket. Yeah, yeah. Some couple of those people died in those ice bucket challenges. One. I mean, I don't want to say it's my favorite, but one of the ones that I was just kind of like, dude, really, you paid no attention in earth science, did you? Water is heavy. You ever try and carry a bucket of water? Water you cannot compress either, right? So you can't get a whole bunch of water into a smaller thing and squeeze it. Come up with that technology, and you're a trillionaire overnight. And this guy put all this water in a backhoe and dumped it on himself. It's like dumping 500 pounds of weight on your head, and then he died because yeah, it hit him in the head and it's heavy. Well, I mean, is only water falling from a great height disperses and becomes droplets. But you could not stand under a waterfall, a good sized waterfall, with water falling from a serious. It'll crush you, right? It's got to be a really high waterfall. So it can be a lot of water, but then it'll come down like a giant heavy shower. Let's look up. Hold on. Ooh, ice water, ice water, ice water. All right, let's look up ice bucket challenge deaths. Let's do that. A number of participants. Let's swap them. A number of participants have sustained injuries, and at least one death has been indirectly linked to the challenge. as a result of injury sustained unrelated to the dumping of ice water, with another death thought to be caused by a variation on the challenge, jumping feet first into ice water. I mean, he broke his neck. Um, broke his neck. Ice Bucket Challenge co-founder. It was supposed to be for ALS, but then people always fuck it up. Uh, this is really fucking big. What is going on with that? Let's do that. Yeah, this makes sense to me. Ice Bucket Challenge. Totally get it. Ice Bucket Challenge. Totally get it. A little drought. I don't know what that's got to do with anything. All right, the Ice Bucket Challenge. Criticism. Waste of water. There's always going to be something. History, predecessor, shifting the challenge, success, survival, 2015 on what rules impact awareness, donation, research, influences, criticism. But of course, use of donation, focus on the stunts rather than the donations, health risks. Nothing about any of the dudes dying. Drought emergency, so there's no ice bucket challenges. We've been streaming for an hour and 18 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, I guess if you have a drought in your area, you can't do the ice bucket challenge. But let's look up the dude who died. Um, co-founder dies. No, it wasn't a teenager. It was an older dude. This milk crate thing is stupid, but knock yourself out. What you're doing wrong. Look, I man, people are always raising money for something, and nothing ever gets fucking cured. And this is the problem. Firefighter electric in Kentucky's ice bucket challenge has died. So there's one. But this guy, it was a dump truck. He had a dump truck full of water. Hmm. Well, let's not look it up. It's getting a little macabre. Um. Uh. Yes. Oddly enough, they do. But now they're all. It's funny you should know that. Now they're all like bridge and tunnel employees, so they'll do it. But yeah, some people don't like to drive over bridges. Uh, do people still wait at either end of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge to drive cars or frighten people? Yep. Yep. Here's my thing. I'm not crazy about bridges either, nor all the infrastructure stuff. If one just collapsed a couple of weeks ago, but for sure. Basic physical and organizational structure and facilities, e.g., bridges, roads, power supplies, needed for the operation of a society or enterprise. This is classification: personal, institutional, sustainable, material, economic, social, core, basic, complementary. What is core? Core assets provide essential services and have monopolistic characteristics. Investors seeking core infrastructure look for five different characteristics: income, low volatility of return, diversification, inflation protection, and long-term liability matching. Greedy. Um, there's a lot of shit in personal a way to embody personal infrastructure to think of it in terms of human capital. Human capital is defined by Encyclopedia Britannica as intangible collective resources possessed by individuals and groups within a given population. Intangible collective resources. So, what is intangible? You can't really put your finger on it, right? But all of us together can do. Maybe it's the fact that we're all uh free spirited thinkers, right? And that kind of thinking will get you going to the moon or the internet or the train, like from coast to coast, that kind of thing, right? Not talking about the violence of any of that. Not talking about that, but I'm just saying somebody's idea to do that, right? Thinking big, thinking broadly, thinking about the first elevator that was put up, right, in Lower Manhattan. Um, Maybe that's the intangible thing, right? You can't. You're going to get something totally different from a whole bunch of Russians. Uh, whatever that intangible thing is. So intangible. Hold it. Wait a minute. We're not gonna go through all these. Uh, Intangible collective resource possessed by individuals and groups within a given sector. That's you know the million of recipes people know, how to build a house or a boat, how to fish, all this intangible shit that you just sort of know. Is what I'm thinking. You want to look up intangible? It's something that like a tangible thing is what? Would your law degree be intangible? I think it kind of would, even though there's a plaque that sits on your wall, unable to be touched or grasped, not having physical presence. Right? My companions do not care about cyberspace or anything else so intangible. Yeah. Uh, and groups within a given population. The goal of personal infrastructure is to determine the quality of the economic agent's values. This results in three major tasks: the task of economic proxies and the economic process teaches unskilled and qualified labor, right? The importance of personal infrastructure for an individual, short and long term consumption of education, and the social relevance of personal infrastructure. Essentially, personal infrastructure maps a human impact on infrastructure as it relates to economy, individual growth, and social impact. So, if you don't feel you've got any individual growth, you are not happy about like your world, right? It's China infrastructure. Um. So yeah, man, that is it. It is 8 o'clock. That thing is in here. I don't know how to get rid of it. Uh. Goodness mercy, follow you all the days of your life. Good seeing you. Hey, good to see you too, Edward. I hope you're doing well. We were just following up on some light news, I guess. Um. But yeah, we've been streaming for a half an hour and we're about to end it. It is 8 p.m. on your Thursday. I guess I'm gonna free. It's the best day of my life. Thanks for the shout out. uh yes, everyone have a good night. Everyone, don't don't let it get you. It's good seeing you, man. Don't let it get at you, right? I mean, you've got that intangible stuff that we just read about. You don't so much look at yourself as a human capital part, but you're part of like the bunch of us, right? The flock of us. So, I mean, what do you want? What that is not, it's got to be possible still, right? You're human. If you're happier, that's contagious. And if someone else is happier, people want to know how you get there. And maybe it isn't a thing that is you can buy, right? Maybe it has to be intangible. It's you teaching yourself uh, whatever you want to teach yourself, or you sitting down to actually write that screenplay, that script, get reconnected to spirituality. Take care, man. Right? Get uh reintroduce yourself uh to uh to things that you once loved, right? Investigate new things. All those things are those intangible things. Because I'm telling you, man, this society, if you're not careful, whoo, it will have you blaming everybody else, right? And we all have something to say about our fate. Um, but if you feel like you're in it alone, you get angry. You don't know why you're angry. You don't think that you're wrong, and then, but before you know it, you're just sort of like this surly, get off my lawn type character, and you don't want to be that. You want to be something totally different, and whatever that totally different is, you can be that thing now. Sweet Jesus, I gotta tell you, ice cold water on a day when it's like 72 degrees, not the move. Tastes better when it's like 90, 98 degrees. Um, the sun is set, and we close this one down. We will be back tomorrow, for our 21st show. Tomorrow is Friday. Whew, this is gonna be good. Um, Friday the 3rd. I don't have anything planned, but yeah, it's gonna be good. It's just Friday. It leads into your weekend, right? You can better ruminate on, maybe my unhappiness is because I haven't attempted to make myself happy with something that isn't about somebody else, or something I have to buy, somebody else, or some bauble, right? You like to sing? Sing more. Work on your singing. I don't know, like whatever makes you. If you hate it, stop doing that. Right? The personal growth and personal enrichment is about not doing something that you. Well, sometimes it's doing something that you dislike, or something that you even hate, but you're happy to do the thing that you're not crazy about because it makes the other thing you're doing better. You understand what I'm saying? So you suffer through some of this, but for the whole thing you're doing, you love it. So for instance, let's say you're a chef, right? And you can cook everything, but you're not crazy about baking. But you do bake some stuff, right? So you know how to do it, and you know your way around it, and then you can get back to, So you have, so it's that, it's 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 is it working on? Do I even want to use the term working on yourself? God, that sounds so trite. But I'm more talking about doing something to keep the the depression and the anxiety of the outside world coming in on you. Before you know it, you're in a box that's collapsing in on itself. Whereas this way, you pay your dues to them, to pay your rent, to keep your lights on and all that. But when you come home in your personal space, in your personal zone, your head is not filled with, oh, the problem is because of these people, or the alt right people, or you've got other stuff. You may know what's going on in the world. You can still read the papers, do whatever, know what's going on, but you don't internalize it, because internally something else is there, and that something else is music, singing, painting, drawing. Maybe you always went to like the stock market, right? And if it's not boring to you and you can delve in, maybe like with the stock market, you'll be making money in a year or two, right? But the idea is, it's not something that you hate, it's something that you're interested in. And that could be anything, because I don't know you, right? It could be math, it could be trigonometry. I used to have a lot of fun figuring out puzzles. Could be mysteries, right? Could join a mystery like online clubs since pandemics around. But the idea is that you're enriching yourself internally, and all the other stuff outside trying to make you hate and worrying, will not hold you like it did. It won't. It won't. It won't. It won't be able to gain purchase on your soul anymore, right? You will be. It'll be like water off a duck's back. You look over there. Oh, what? Murder, rape, mayhem. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that. That's why I'm not going to vote for that guy. Oh, I'm going to vote for that. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I know the issues. I'm just not, you know, screaming and pulling my heart about and having agita over anymore. I still know the issues, but now I'm emotionally connected, not to that stuff that they want me to be connected to. I'm emotionally connected to this other stuff over here, which is better, right? And that, like I said, that can be anything you pick. So please join me here every day. We're here at 6:30. I should move the show later. I don't know. I don't know. I'm all over the place with this. Join me. We're here at 6:30 every day. We float through we float through the papers and see how the world is going. Um, and we solve the world's problems. That's what we do here. No pun intended. We absolutely no pun intended. No no hyperbole is what I meant to say. No pun intended. No hyperbole. We totally solve the world's problems. Uh, so please like and subscribe. We are here every day at 6:30 p.m. every day, except Sunday. We're here Sunday at 7:30 a.m. every day. Every not every day, every Sunday. And that counts as church. So remember that. So Monday through Saturday, we're here at 6:30. Please like and subscribe. I am True Armor, your homie, on Twitch. I'm Karma Armor. Stop on through there and like and subscribe that. And let's solve some problems. Let's fix the world's issues by keeping an eye on what goes on. All right, so that is it for me. Let's close this. That is it for me today. I want to thank all of you. Um, it's always good seeing you. It's always good seeing you, William. Yeah, yeah. So, oh, the last bit. I always like to give a lot of room. I don't know what happened with this TV angle, but it's tighter. It used to be broader, now it's tighter. It's Friday, not Friday. Next week, Saturday is September 11th. Not this coming Saturday. Next week, Saturday is September 11th. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to be here. I don't do anything on September 11th. Uh, I don't like to watch TV or the news. It's super depressing. Um, so I was going to watch Netflix or some other way veg out, but that's hard to do because it's in the back of my craw. But I'm trying not to miss any days here. We're doing 1,000 days. We don't want to miss any days. And I when I started this, I didn't even think of holidays and observances, Christmas and New Year's, right? 1,000 days, 1,000 days. I gave myself after every 3 months, I get one day off. Not so I could take the one day off, but I'd rather not do that. So I guess I'm gonna. We sort of decided this yesterday. I keep saying I guess I'm gonna be here tomorrow. Uh, Not tomorrow. I guess I'll be here next week Saturday. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It likely won't be long. But then I think the streams are only an hour. They're not 5 hours anymore. We're about due for another 5 hour stream, quite frankly. Uh, but it won't be September 11th. I don't know, man. I don't. I want to honor those dudes. I don't want to be around. Also, don't, truth to tell, I had a ton of nightmares about that day. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. But I don't. It's weird. You think, well, it's a been there some, but I kind of set myself a mark and I'm aiming at it, and that's the thing. Um, and the show must go on comes in my head, but also you have reverence for stuff that you've been doing for 21 years. Um, I don't think I'm gonna be. I'll probably be here. I don't know. I'll figure something out. Maybe something will come to me by Saturday, 6:30 Saturday on September 11th. But I won't. I mean, it's not like, hey, we'll do something else and throw a party or play a video game. I'm not gonna be doing any of that. So what am I gonna talk about? And everything is gonna be September 11th when I open up the newspaper or open up the app. Maybe we will play a video game. I don't know. God, oh my God, I need to start scheduling my life better when I do these shows. I like to sort of like just be loose with you guys. But I think the more I do it, the more there should be there should be a structure. Um, all to happen after September 11th. Let's have respect for those guys that day, right? But at the same time, do you really need to consume to watch the whole day over and over again like it's a concert? It's just if someone had the bombing of Pearl Harbor on video minute by minute and ran it every December 2nd, Pearl Harbor, right? December 2nd at the time. So you'd be like, what? Why? I mean, it's been 21 years. Do we have to see this again? And I always thought it was traumatizing, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a wuss boy. Um, but I don't know. I'll be here. I guess I've decided to be here. What am I going to do then? I could read your tarot cards. I could read your tarot cards. I could draw a picture, paint a picture. We could paint a picture. Oh, good Lord. I don't know. I don't even want to look at the news on September 11th. I don't know. All right. We're going to end this thing. We've been streaming for an hour and 37 minutes. I want to thank all of you for coming through. We will be here tomorrow at 6:30 for our 1,000 day devotional. We're doing 1,000 days. Where we respect and reconnoiter when we get to the year and a half mark, right? We said we were going to shuffle it up every 3 months. I think we sort of did that. The first 2.5 months was about guitar. I think this last month has been more about talking and we sort of changed the format. We have a Sunday morning show, and all the rest of the shows are 6:30 every day, so you'll know where to find us. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna make ourselves better. I'm good enough, and I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. We're gonna make our environments better, our hoods and our houses and our homes and our homies, right? And we're gonna be better citizens for whatever country we happen to reside in, and then we'll take it from there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, like I said, we're here solving problems. Uh, I got love for you. I will see you tomorrow at 6:30. Peace out.